Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Virtuous Her podcast. I am so excited tonight. We have Bianca Bee on the line waiting to join us. This is so exciting. I'm just going to give y'all some updates as she prepared to come on. Um, Thursday, we're going to be at the I Am Still Standing Conference in Bessemer. It's going to be sold out, it's going to be packed out. We are so excited to be there and to share with everyone there. I'll have some books there. I'll be signing some books. So, y'all get your tickets. Make sure you come out and support. We are excited about that. We also have our Oh God. Oh man. Just forgot about it. Let me grab it real quick. Pull up this itinerary. Just so y'all know, we have two more episodes. After this one, we have two more episodes. And so make sure y'all tune in. We have a special Christmas one where we'll be doing live with six other experts. We're bringing them on the Virtuous Her podcast. They're going to be talking to you about what's happening, some of the things on how to handle some of the struggles during the holiday season. So you definitely want to catch that one. So we're about to wrap this season up. We're going to come back in the spring, and then in the spring, we're going to try to do something a little bit more professional, but we want to take it up a notch, and that'll give us plenty of time to prepare for that. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Um, we have what else do we have going on? Of course, the music video is out there, the song is out there for you to download. My book is still out there. We just booked Daytona Beach for September. So we're going to be doing a bus trip to Daytona. So I'll be sharing more information about that for the people that want to participate in that. That's going to be in September. I am going to be taking people with me to Daytona. That's going to be a really, really, really fun trip. We're excited about that. In January, we're going to be in Minnesota. So we're going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the Choose to Change conference with Latrina Caldwell. Can't wait for y'all to meet her. Hopefully, we'll be able to do a podcast there in Minneapolis and talk to her and some of the other guests speakers that's on the panel there. We do have two other events in Minneapolis that we have scheduled. We're going to announce that by the end of the last podcast so that you know what we're doing there. I think that's it. I think that's all that we have going on up into the first of the year. We do have another engagement in December, but we'll announce that once they have that flyer out. So that's everything that I'm doing up into the first of the year. We do have a bunch of stuff that we're going to be announcing coming the first of the year for KGM. We have product lines that are coming. Oh, let me back up. The conference. I do want to talk about the conference, the Unshaken Conference in September. We are, if anybody that wants to participate, you definitely can participate in that conference. As far as if you want to volunteer or serve in that capacity, definitely you can do that. The window of opportunity for that is open. We do have a couple of contracts that have gone out as far as event management company. So we're excited about that. We're also booking our singers and our worship team for that. So if you want to participate or if you want to, serve in any capacity with the Unshaken Conference, definitely inbox me for more information. I will definitely share and we'll try to give you an opportunity to serve if you feel like that's something that God is leading for you to do. Um, so that's it with the conference. Yes, it's going to be big. Our big announcement, we have not made it yet. We are going to make it. Hopefully soon, very, very soon, we will make that announcement of what you're going to expect that will definitely blow your mind. So I'm excited about this. And what we're doing with this conference, we have been planning for the past 2 years. So I cannot wait to tell y'all what we have in store for you guys. So make sure you tune in the next couple of episodes and keep up with what we're doing because we will really about to make an imprint, an impact in our city. I do have another song that's coming out in January. I cannot wait to release that song. I think you're going to be shocked with that one. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on, and if you have any questions, want to participate, want to serve, anything, you can just inbox me. Let me know. We're here. All righty. So without further ado, I want to introduce to y'all Bianca Bee. Oh my gosh, she is so gorgeous. She is so sweet. And I am just so excited that she agreed to come on this podcast and talk to me. So yeah, we're gonna bring her on. You ready, Miss B?
Hi,
Ready?
how are you?
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. So excited.
Me too.
How was your day?
It was good. It was good. I'm in a good space. I just turned 30, so life is different. It's a good vibe.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you have any goals for 30 or
The big goal
what's
is to just live in the present and just keep going and just be happy, truly happy, not just saying you're happy, but feeling internally happy. I think that is the goal for this year for sure.
just be happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not hard. Well, for some people that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge for some people just to maintain that peace and that happiness. So I'm not going to say that's easy, but that is a goal. That is something definitely to aspire to do. But before we get started, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What are you doing? What are you working on? We want to know about Bianca.
I am a entrepreneur, an author, and a booking producer. I work in TV, and that's been mainly my career throughout the years. I just put out a book called Resting Bee Face. It's by Bianca Bee. I go by Bianca Bee, and so it's like a little, vibe to RBF, but Resting Bee Face. And I just continue to just work. This is my third book. I also have my own cosmetics line called BFF Cosmetics. And also I have, my YouTube channel at Bianca Bee Show, where I interview like a variety of different celebrities and vlogs and, social media, just sharing my life and my journey in the entertainment industry. So that's mainly what I've been doing.
So how has it been in the entertainment industry? Like what age did you start? And so kind of give us that little background.
So when I was 16, well, a little bit younger than that, when I was about like 13, I was on the BT Teens of Comedy tour, and I basically toured as a background dancer. And that's kind of when I knew entertainment was something I truly wanted to do. And then when I was about 16, I had this blog and I created it. It was biancabee.com, where I would interview and highlight upcoming artists. And I had no film background. So my mom decided like, okay, it's time for you to go to college, what college you want to go to and for what. And so we decided on film. And so I went to LA, and my journey with film just began. I learned all aspects of film, from producing, editing, audio, casting, the director side. And so I fell in love with film. And my first internship was the Oprah Winfrey Network. So I was an intern for her company. And then I went to TMZ as an intern. And then after college, I went to Warner Brothers, went to E! News. I went to the Steve Harvey Show, the Mel Robbins Show, the Nick Cannon Show. And now I'm at Fox right now. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I'm super blessed. And I've been able to work for a lot of different companies from LA to New York. It's been truly a blessing. Just to be in the rooms and just to have a check by those companies, So it's been amazing. And so my passion is booking. I love putting people on TV and sharing their story. I think that is what I'm most passionate about, is just like being a booking producer, producing segments and giving people opportunities that may have never thought that they could be on TV. So like that is what I truly love.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's that's so powerful. Because we're about to get into your book, but having that desire and having that passion to introduce people to something that they never thought that they would. I mean, that is just powerful because everybody doesn't have that motive as to why they do what they do. Most people that are in this entertainment industry, they're in it for the money, the notoriety, but it's like you have a passion to help people.
Yeah. I love, like, every time I've tried to step away from entertainment, God always leads me back. He'd be like, girl, what are you doing? Let's put you back here. Every time, I kid you not. And it's just, I've learned to accept that this is what I'm passionate about. And I love just media overall, from social media to TV. Like, I just genuinely love the media and entertainment industry.
So do you work for multiple shows? Is that how, or are you booking for one particular show?
So in the past, it's been like talk shows. So talk shows kind of are weird because it's based off ratings. It's based off, how is the show doing? So for me, I would kind of go from gig to gig. You're kind of like an independent contractor. So I'll be a booking producer for the Mel Robbins show. I did that for like 8 months, and then the show ended, and then I went to Nick Cannon show, that ended. And so now where I'm at, it's longevity because it's more Fox weather. It's more weather related, which is much different from entertainment and like fashion segments and beauty segments. But this is, I love just human interest stories and putting people on TV and just like them sharing their story, whether it was how they were impacted by a certain situation or if they helped somebody. Like, I really thoroughly enjoy it a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah. I am so impressed.
Thank you.
I am so impressed. Just reading your story, your resilience, and how you push through people categorizing you. What is it? Characterizing you, and going into a room and people not really understanding you, or may misread you the wrong way. Talk about that as far as you trying to navigate through your career and going into these rooms with millionaires and billionaires and all of these high profile people, and people categorize.
You said it right.
I am this has been I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this has been a day.
Okay.
But miscategorizing you. Explain that and talk about that.
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm an introvert and an extrovert. So with my mom, I grew up kind of the only child. I am her only child. So I kind of do everything a little bit solo and kind of like very observant and very like kind of quiet when you first meet me. And so I think for some people, because they see me in glam and they see, my outer appearance, they think, oh, she's stuck up, or she is pretty privileged. And so I feel like I've had to work 10 times harder. And then sometimes in certain rooms, only being the only person that look like my skin complexion, that has been a journey as well. Like sometimes only being the only Black woman on a team, or just not seeing other people who look like me. And also like my mom and dad, I mean, they knew people in the industry, but they never wanted to be famous. They never wanted, this entertainment world. So I never really saw. So my dad owns a restaurant, and then my mom, she is entrepreneur. So she sells candles and she does things like that. So they were more like entrepreneurs and more, or my mom would do corporate, but entertainment wasn't something like, oh, you go to film school or anything like that. So I'm kind of like the first person kind of in my family to do film. And so going from gig to gig is really extremely hard because there's no consistency of pay. It's not your typical corporate job where, you get every 2 weeks, you get a 401k and you're there for years. And so back to your question, being in these rooms and being misunderstood, I mean, it's just kind of like how my appearance look sometimes, where it's like, oh, she's serious, or, oh, I can't really read her. What's her vibe? And then I
Mhm.
feel like I have to work 10 times harder to, execute my job. And sometimes,
Mhm.
I'm from Detroit originally, so I'm from the hood. That's how I grew up. So, we have to observe people and move a certain type of way, So for
Mhm.
me, it's been a challenge, and that's why the inspiration behind this book. A producer one time told me, "You have RBF," and I didn't know what that meant. I
Mhm.
Googled it, and so it was kind of like an inspiration because I go by Bianca Bee and I use B as B, and so I was like, let me
Mhm.
just kind of make this a cool kind of like metaphor, and so that's why I named
Mhm.
this book, and it's kind of like the struggles of being misunderstood.
Mhm. Like turning lemon into lemonade.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna read this. You wrote this, and this is what really hooked me. Like I said, when I first sat down and I read your book, I mean, I was able to get through most of it in one sitting because I was just so hooked. But I want to read this, and I want you to talk to me about this because my heart dropped. It says, "When you look at me, I look like this confident woman who lives this luxury lifestyle in big cities. I'm on social media, smiling and putting on makeup, being around celebrities, traveling the world, looking fly. Although I may appear that way, like most of us do online, when you're close to these apps, when you close these apps, close the emails, and go to your room at night, who are you truly?
Mm.
What demons are you fighting? What addictions are you fighting? Are you sleeping or entertaining demons? Are you having sex with demons? Are you in a relationship with someone who's secretly jealous of you? Are you around friends who secretly want your life and envy you?
Mm.
What childhood traumas and battles are you truly facing?" Like that took me down.
I get emotional though, because sometimes I haven't really went back and reread the book, to be honest with you, because it was very hard to write. It took like 3 years, but it's the real. When you take off these lashes and when you take off these clip ins, who are you? Like, who are you when you
Mhm.
go to sleep? Are you lonely? Like, it's been hard being in these cities by myself, and chasing a
Mhm.
dream. Stop, I'm getting emotional, but it's been hard. And it's hard.
I know.
Why are you making me cry? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
when you
You should I like, I get it.
so it's like,
I
who
get
are
it.
you? When you're around these people, who are you? So sorry. I didn't expect to
Oh, you
cry. Yeah. But yeah, like that is the truth. A lot of us, I see a lot of women
Mhm.
specifically. And when I was working for the Mel Robbins show, that show changed my life because I had to sit down and pre-interview women who were molested, who
Mm.
domestic violence. And so it kind of was like these women look like they have everything figured out, but they
Mhm.
don't.
Mhm.
And they're
They
fighting
do.
something at home. And,
Mhm.
it's just like people prejudge people before knowing their situation. More of the story.
And a lot of times it's it's like what you said. A lot of times when you do have your stuff together, when you are goal oriented and you're, you know, high achieving, um, a lot of times those are the most broken people because it takes so much to get to that point. It takes
Mhm.
isolation, it takes dedication, it takes focus, it takes, just kind of being in solitude and just focusing on the goals. And so then you have people with the audacity, you know, to say things or to look at you a certain type of way. And you're just like, I don't know about you, but for me, it's just like you're just focused on that goal.
Yeah.
Like, look, I don't have anything against you. I don't, you know, I'm not even really thinking about you. This is what's in front of
Right.
me, and this is what I'm trying to get to. And so I'm sorry if that offends
Yeah.
you, but it's hard.
Hmm.
It's very
Yeah, very much so.
hard.
I'm a crying Scorpio right now. I'm a water sign. I've been thugging it out. I haven't cried in forever, so
Oh
Yeah.
no, I didn't mean to make you cry, but I just remember, girl. I mean, you're in big cities, like you moved from Detroit to LA to New York.
Mhm.
Girl, I moved from the Gulf Coast to Birmingham, and this was a big city for me because I grew up in a rural, is it rural?
Yeah, it
Country, rural. I don't even it was like really remote. So in my little town, we probably didn't have no more than 100
is.
people.
Mhm.
So coming to Birmingham, girl, I almost lost my mind because it was so big and so isolated. So I was just sitting here thinking, like, man, you moving from Detroit to LA by yourself and all of these struggles, it appeared as if you were just going through this stuff by yourself.
Mhm.
That's what appeared. Was that the case?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
did you have a support system?
yeah, totally. My family is super supportive. I would
Okay,
be
good.
lying and saying that I did this by myself. You know what I'm saying? But the guts to actually relocate and to, survive on my own, it's not like, oh, I call my parents for every single thing that happens. You still
Mhm.
have to be an adult and take responsibilities. But it was hard for me being away, especially being the only child from my mom. That's hard because me and her were like
Mhm.
this. And so, being 17 and moving so far away, it's hard. I mean, a lot of people go off to school and, things like that, but I stayed and I built my own community. A lot of my friends were from Detroit, so that was good. But moving to New York is a different animal. It's a different in the
Mm.
entertainment industry. It's very cutthroat. It's not like
Mhm.
you have this it's so many people. It's so
Mhm.
much.
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, in LA, I definitely had a circle for sure, and everybody was from where I'm from. Most of my friends are my childhood friends, but going to New York, that was different. It was different. It's much challenging than LA for sure.
So, and we can talk about this if you want to, and we don't have
Mhm.
to. But you mentioned suicidal
Mhm.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Because I think people struggle with it, and when it's on the extreme level of them actually trying to commit, then maybe they talk about it, then they try to get help. But talk about your
Mm. So February 12th, 2022, it was
Mhm.
it was crazy because I posted this fire picture. I looked super beautiful that day. And I was out with my friends and I got back home and I was having issues with the person I was with at the time. I was having issues at work. And then it was just felt like nobody was hearing me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like nobody was hearing me. So I made a tweet. I said, people are going to miss me when I'm gone.
Mm.
And my friend Tabitha saw it and she called me and she sat on the phone with me for like 3 hours. And if it wasn't for her, I probably, you think of these thoughts like,
Mhm.
what am I, Um, but if it wasn't for her, yeah, I wouldn't be here for sure. Yeah.
Girl, why you got me crying? Stop.
You the one who
Stop.
asked me the
I
question.
did I'm telling you, I was shocked.
Yeah.
You put this stuff in there because people, here's the thing. They say, oh, she's so pretty. She got it together. She's this, she's that. And they really don't know the mental toil and struggle that you have.
Yeah.
And so for you to be transparent and to show that and to talk about that, it makes me weep.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, it's so much good things girl, it's like you're killing your goals. And we're going to talk about that, like that manifesting.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that, but it's that brokenness part that I want to start with because you do go from being broken to bold. And so people don't see sometimes you do have to break. Sometimes life will break you, but and that breaking comes before the building.
Yeah.
And so when people try to judge or say, oh, she bougie, she's like, you really don't know what people like you
Yeah.
high achieving, virtuous women go through and struggle with just to get to where they're going.
Yeah.
So I really do like
Thank
that.
you. Oh my God, I've cried 2 times. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
God.
So, so this was a catchy thing too. So I know you talked a lot about your relationships, but what caught my attention is when you said I was the red flag.
Yes.
Who says that?
Huh?
Who says that? Everybody blames everybody else. They have all of these social media memes trying to warn you about other people, but you said I was the red flag.
I was for sure the red flag. I was definitely someone who was moody, had an attitude, put my career before any relationship. I was very selfish in a lot of ways within that relationship. And so in multiple relationships. And so I had to step back. I turned 29 last year. I stepped back and I said, I am dating the same people, but in different bodies. And what is the common denominator? It is me. I'm attracting this. So what do you need to work on, Bianca? What are the traumas that you need to work on? What are those daddy issues you need to work on? What are those mommy issues you need to work on? What are those things that you need to fix? And so I just became aware. It was like this light bulb went off. From 29 to 30, the light bulb went off. I didn't explain it, but I started taking accountability, and I talk about that in the book, just being accountable for my actions and the things that I was doing wrong. Now, it takes 2 people for sure, but I started being aware of like, okay, this is the type of relationship I saw growing up. This is the type of, and I also, I have an attachment style that's a dismissive attachment style. So I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to just walk away when something could have just been a conversation.
Right.
Instead of just running away. And I think I did that a lot, which is run away. So I'll do things like I'll pick up and just move. I'm like, it's getting too much. I can't communicate. Let me just move. Let me pack up all my stuff and move. And I was one of those people. I have a dismissive, like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Block. But things could have been resolved if you just communicated how you felt. And so that's something I learned. Something from 29, 30, something clicked.
But that speaks to a level of confidence. I can tell how confident, I'm going to tell you, I really don't like talking to people that don't have a certain level of confidence because there's levels to it. But I can really assess your level of confidence based on your response. And people who are non-responsive, I feel like they don't have any confidence. And so based on how they respond, but those people that don't respond, that are dismissive, I feel like something's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like something. So to say, hey, I recognize that something is wrong when I should have a conversation and I don't, and I walk away and I am dismissive, something's wrong because people think it's okay to not be responsive and to deal with issues. So for you to say, hey, I was that red flag, I think that accountability and that level of maturity is just admirable.
Thank you.
I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it is an everyday thing. I mean, healing is not like, oh, I turned 30 and I'm healed and I know and I'm here to share the world of my story. No, it's an everyday thing.
Yeah, it's everyday. Oh my God. Girl, you got so much in your book. You said I shrank myself because I felt everyone didn't like me.
Yeah.
Was that just pulling out of social circles? Was that just keeping your distance?
Even you said it earlier, right? When we were pre-checking, you were like, do you talk? And I think sometimes I've gotten used to like, let me shrink myself a little bit because I'm already in glam. So I got on the whole gown when I go to work or wherever room I'm in. I have on makeup and these things. And so I know that could possibly intimidate people. How I walk, my posture is very,
Mhm.
confident.
Right.
And sometimes your energy is so confident that you're like, well, I actually look a mess today. This is not even highest capability, but people get intimidated by that. So I would shrink myself in rooms sometimes. But I'm also very confident. So
Mhm.
it's a mixture of both. In certain rooms, especially if I was the only person that looked like me and they using all these big words and I don't know what's going on, I'm like, okay, I'm tricking myself.
Mhm.
But I still have this confidence that I'm always going to have embedded in me. But there were
Mhm.
moments that I definitely shrinked myself for sure.
And speaking of that, you said this was something that you were speaking to yourself in the book. You said, "Wow, Bianca, you're flawless. You're a leader. You're powerful. No man on earth can stop that." When did you when did you realize that this was your truth? Like, at what point did you begin to say that? Because for me, I was near approaching 40.
Mm.
And you're young. So when did you start realizing
When
that?
I realized I was fearless, I think when I lost everything last year and I
Mhm.
still
Oh, wow.
and I still persevered. Like I
Mhm.
lost my
I like that.
I lost my job. I found out I didn't have a job
Mhm.
online. Um And that took a toll on me because I used all my savings to move to New York. Like I stopped my business. I stopped a lot of things to work on the show that I was working on. And that
Mhm.
was also during the time of that February 12th, is probably a month after that incident. And I said, you know what? I've lost everything. I got in so much debt. I had never been in debt before. Like this
Mhm.
extreme amount of debt. I was behind on every bill you can think of.
Mhm.
Like, this is not the end. This is not the
Mm.
end. If you can get through that,
Mhm.
Bianca, you can get through anything. And so I
Mhm.
started viewing life. What is the problem and how can I solve it? Talk
Mhm.
about that in a book. I literally look at life now and what is the problem and how can I solve it? Like even now, I used to cry all the time. Like I used to be
Mhm.
a big crier. So me crying now is like, oh, I have some emotions now. But for the past for the past year, I've been numb. And that's kind of
Mm.
scary too when you become numb.
Mhm.
When you're like, okay,
Mm.
who's gonna hurt me?
Wow.
What but going back to that statement, that's when I realized last year, top of the year, where it was like, okay, I can get through anything. 2022 may
Mm.
have been a bad year, but 2023, oh, I'm gonna execute this. I'm gonna get through this,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So you can take everything away from me and I will still figure it out, you know. So
Because sometimes people wrap their confidence around what they have, right? It's the materialistic things. I have this big house, I have this fancy car. And as soon as they lose those things, they lose themselves.
mhm,
And if you have a person that, that's thinking in the right vein or in the right direction, they think just like you, hey, I lost these things, but I really found myself.
mhm,
Because it was the same thing with me. I mean, I was in the same situation, maybe not, you know, for me, finding, I'm not going to go through my story, but for me, I have a degree in accounting, so I know how to find money.
mhm,
That's just,
mhm,
so you take a job, you no one cares,
mhm,
close businesses. Hey, I know how to open another
mhm,
business. Um, but the challenge for me is when my health was affected.
mhm,
And so when that storm hit, that's when I broke.
mhm,
And I'm like, okay, I got to get through this. But it's like, it's exactly what you said. Like, once you get through it, like, if I went through this, then there's absolutely nothing that I can't
mhm.
do. And so people like, you're coming back so strong. I'm like, if I can get through that adversity, nothing can stop
Yeah.
me. Nobody can
Mhm,
stop me. this point in my life, you can't stop me. You can
Yeah.
try, and I think a lot of times when people say the mean, the harsh things, one, because they're jealous, we know
Mhm.
that, but a lot of times it's because they want to stop you.
Mm,
They don't want to see you. I don't know if it's them thinking that there's not enough room at the
mhm,
top for everybody,
mhm.
but it's a lot of times people say that because they want to stop you. They don't want to see you
Yeah.
successful and on and such. But yeah, I like that. Um, so let's talk about. We're gonna go to this. Let's talk about this real quick, and then we're gonna go to the manifesting because I want you to talk about that.
Mhm.
But you took a break for your mental health. I think that's important. Um, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so the film industry, the talk show world, it goes from gig to gig. It's based off relationships. The whole entertainment industry is based off relationships. So we're keeping it, a buck. And so when our show got canceled and, it was public, it was all on social media, I kind of just was like, what do I do next? Like that was my, I had my mental breakdown, but I said, no, I need to fix this. So I decided, when our show got canceled, it was during the mid-season, so it's really hard to find a job because of the time of the month that it ended. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply to be a flight attendant. And I applied like 3 times. They rejected me. And it was crazy. I applied to Delta, I applied to United, and I applied to American. I applied to all 3, got denied. I say, no, I'm going to become a flight attendant. So the 4th place was Republic Airways, and Republic Airways was United, American, and Delta. The people that declined me, Republic Airways accepted me, and I was able to be a flight attendant on all 3 of those airlines.
Oh wow.
So when God said he got something bigger, they denied you all 3. We're gonna get you a job where you can do all 3. Okay. So that was the mental health that I needed to travel, to see these small, because with Republic Airways, they're kind of like an independent contractor that has flight attendants who fly smaller planes. But going to these different cities like Nashville, like going to Jamaica, like traveling the world, that was so peaceful for my mental health during that time. Leaving every week, like gone. So for me, that was something I needed during that time because I was about to break because I didn't know what was next because I'm such a plotter and I'm such a planner. That was the first time I'm like, what do I do next? Nobody's hiring me in the film industry. Everybody's about to go on summer vacation soon. So what do I do now? And so I took that break and I did it for 8 months and it was the best experience. But something told me once again, I was at work and they call it hot reserve, where you have to sit at the airport until a flight is available for you. So I sat at the airport for about like 5 hours. And I said, I literally had my laptop. I said, God, if I'm meant to be in the film industry, give me the right job. And this is when I turned 29. Like 29 was that year. So that month, turned 29, I said, I'm gonna go celibate. I said that I am not gonna drink. I'm not gonna smoke hookah. And I gave up those things. And I kid you not, in December, I'm sitting on hot reserve at the airport. I said, God, if this is meant for me to do film, I'll try again one more time. So I applied to Fox, and I had applied to Fox back in 2020. I applied to Fox 3 different shows because Fox is such a broad, big network. I applied there and I applied to some other places. And I kid you not, I got so many offers that following week. And I did my interviews and I picked the right place and the right position. And I said, okay, if this is what you want me to do, this is it. So it was kind of like I took a leap of faith and was like, I need to do this. I kid you not. I kid you not. I was at the airport and I was God, I'm like, because I love film, I love TV, but I also like this flight attendant life, but I like film. So that's what happened.
Girl, it's something similar happened. It's like sometimes, we talk about mental health and taking mental health breaks all the time, but sometimes it's just some things that we need to take a break from too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's some people that we need to break away from too. And so a lot of times people, they struggle with their mental health because they're still connected to ideas, people, habits and stuff that they need to break away
Mm-hmm.
from. And so I feel like if you can break away from that, you'll get your breakthrough. And I saw this somebody posted this in one of our sister queen group today. They was like, learn how to take a break and not quit.
Mm,
And so when I saw that, I thought of you. I said, she took a break, but she did not quit.
no.
And so sometimes people think that resting time, they're thinking, oh, God forgot about me. He's not thinking about me. No, he's just allowing you to
Yes.
rest because he got something better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
And I
that.
couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, all of these, the place that denied me just 2 years ago. Because when I applied, it was in
Mhm.
the end of 2022. And then top of the year, I was starting with them. And so it'll be almost a year coming up in January. And so
Mhm.
this time last year, it was like, what do you do?
So let's talk about how you were able to manifest
Mhm.
things. A part of that, I think it takes. Let's tell them how you were able to manifest some of the big things that happen in your life. Tell them how you did it, and then we'll tell them what happened.
Um,
Like, what do you manifesting is like? What is that process for you?
So I've been aware of the law of attraction and The Secret since I was a kid. My mom let me read the book at 17 called The Secret. And then she got me
Mhm.
the Teen Secret. So I already knew about how powerful words are and you can
Mhm.
manifest anything and speak. The power of the tongue is everything. So in 2014 is when I really started tapping into, manifestation. I was doing a vision board with my friend. This was like during the time where vision boards weren't really that popular. It wasn't like a popular thing. And so I took Oprah, I took Steve Harvey, I took Tyler Perry. I wanted a Jeep, and I put all these things that I wanted. We did that like December, January, and then April, I got the internship for Oprah Winfrey's network. So that's when I
Mhm.
knew, okay, Bianca, you're on to something. And so
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
remember even with my book, my very first book, this was God. This wasn't manifestation. This was God. I wrote down God because I needed a space. I had just got out of college. I put out this book and I had this event space. I had these event planners and I needed about like $200 more for something. I said, God, I
Mhm.
just need $200. I happened to go into my mailbox, literally one check for $200.
Mhm.
And it was from
Mhm.
me referring a friend to my complex probably 3 months prior to that.
Wow.
So that was something else that was manifestation. Even in 2017, I had Steve Harvey on I kept doing vision boards every year. That was something I did every year. And so I had Steve Harvey on there and I worked for him in his show. I was a production assistant. It was random. My friend called me.
Mhm.
She's like, "We need a PA." I did it for the last month of his filming when he was in LA. So, those little things. I remember writing down. I have a manifestation journal that my mentor Monica Marie Jones gave me, and she actually did the
Mhm.
forward in the book. So she's a very important person in my life. So she gave me this manifestation journal, and I literally write down everything that I want. I said I'm going to relocate to New York. I said this years ago.
Mhm.
Like so, everything I've gotten, I manifested. So it's
Mhm.
easy. It's easy for me
Mhm.
now.
I like that because in my book I talk about prophetic
Mhm.
declarations and having and speaking those things into existence and calling those things as though they're not as though they were, even though they're not as though they were. I talk about that, and that's part of it. Like you have to do that confidently,
Mhm.
like to be able to get to where you want. You have to be able to see it, envision it, feel it, smell it, embrace
Mhm.
it, and just taking that time out to say, "Hey, this is what I want." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people don't believe in it. They
Yeah.
don't do it. And I tell people, "Hey, between October and December, I'm telling y'all, God is listening."
Mhm.
Now, I have to get my husband to explain that to y'all because I'm no theologian.
Mhm.
I am no theologian, but I'm telling y'all between October and December, I'm gonna get him back on here one day so he can explain to y'all. When you write stuff down and you take it to God during those 3 months, he hears you.
Mhm.
And every list, I don't do the vision board because I'm not that
Mhm.
crafty and I don't have that much patience to
Yeah.
sit down and
Vision
study
boards
out.
are whole arts and crafts, but that pen and that paper.
That baby, between October, December, I am praying, and I'm doing it a little bit different this
Mhm.
year because I'm careful about what I ask for. Because sometimes you're not
Okay.
ready.
All right.
You're not ready.
Okay.
So this year is different. This year I'm like, God, I'm taking these 3 months and I'm praying intensely and I'm asking you, what do you want to do through me?
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna take that and
Mhm.
I'm writing all that stuff down. And then what I do at January, I write it down. I get my husband to touch and agree with me. Hey, and I guarantee y'all that stuff gonna happen before the end of the year.
Can you repeat that one more
It-
time? You said you asked God what?
what is it that He wants to do through me
Mm.
this year? Instead of me taking it, because my needs are met. I don't there. I'm like David. There's nothing that I won't. So, God has been faithful. It took me a while to get there, because you always go through those seasons of lack and not having, and then you have to build your faith up to knowing that, okay, I might not have it today, but I know that God is going to bring it through. So I'm just at that place where I'm not worried about anything anymore. It's just like you, like if I've been through what I went through, I know I can get through anything. So now it's like, God, what do you want to do through me?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do in this next year? And so that's my thing. So he's already given it to me. And January 1st, we sit down and I write it out and I just go. And my husband taught me that, and I promise you, it works. That's what I want you to talk about. It
Yeah.
works. So
Thank you
yeah,
for the
I just
comments. We appreciate it.
yeah, I'm sorry, sorry. But yeah, I'm like, okay, they been shy tonight.
Mhm.
They're being so shy. Where y'all at? Y'all come and talk to us. Y'all ask her some questions. She is so nice.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh. Okay. So we talked about manifesting. I want to talk about, okay, girl, we're not gonna scare the saints away tonight. But I do want to talk about relationships because I love
Mhm.
relationships. Like I love talking about it. That was my biggest struggle.
Oh yeah. That
So, so let's talk about it. Uh, I want to know. I'm just gonna be real. I want to know about this sugar daddy.
sugar daddy?
Was he not?
He
Was I reading it wrong?
no. He was
Was I reading
he
it wrong?
was older than me, but I wouldn't consider him a sugar daddy. But
Oh, he wasn't a
I
sugar
knew you
daddy.
were gonna
Okay,
ask
tell
me
me
about
about
Godfather. So I mentioned Godfather.
Godfather. Okay, okay. So he was really a Godfather.
Yes, like not
Okay.
not really a Godfather, but that was his name.
Gotcha,
But he
gotcha,
was my
gotcha.
godfather, but he was somebody who definitely molded me into how y'all got that one person that just really teaches you about life. And
Yeah.
that boost of,
Okay.
that boost of energy and that boost of confidence. And he was definitely
I'm glad you told me that because I was
I
like,
know
girl, let me tell you
he
something.
was
Let me tell
much
you.
older than me, yes. But I
Okay.
personally don't say I hate that word because it's
Oh.
not like it wasn't it wasn't like, oh, this man was paying. Or when I think of a sugar daddy, it's like exchange. But no, it was definitely somebody
Okay.
that mad respect and really just took care of me and guided me through life for sure.
Oh, that's
Y'all,
sweet. I'm so glad, girl. I was so ready to ask you. I was like, y'all, let's talk. I was ready to ask you. I'm glad I asked you that because I promise you, I don't know why. Because I think, and this is not necessarily true, because I was going to tell you this. I was like, I want to tell women this. Like, you do not have to sleep with men for money.
No.
Like, there are just genuinely good people out there that will help you and that will do for you. And I'm glad you said that because I just see so much going on social media. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
It's really people who, especially from Detroit, it's a lot of men and women who are friends, and it's kind of that dynamic. But I don't know what's going on with social media nowadays and things like that. But there are people who really care about you and want to see you do great and want to guide you to the right business things. Like Godfather, he molded me and taught me about business, like credit, like everything. And so more than any man in my life did during that time in my life. So, few and far between, no, they are rare, very much so.
They're rare. And what happened with me when I was in college, I was like, man, I was struggling. I was like, man, I'm not talking. So my husband and I, we've been together 16 years. I counted it before I came on the show. He was like, you don't even remember. It's like, it's been so long. It's almost 20 years. But we've been together for 16 years. We've been married.
That's amazing.
14 years. But before him, I literally did not talk to anybody for 3 years. But I had guys that God sent into my life. It was men. I'm telling you, they bought me furniture for my house. They made sure I was okay. When I moved to Birmingham, they made sure that they sent me money, made sure. And I'm like, God, like if I knew about this before, I would have. So it was just, it's that revelation that, because sometimes, and the reason why I say this is that because sometimes we can be in relationships that will destroy our confidence, destroy who it is we think we are. And you talked about that with one of the guys.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it? I don't want to get...
We were together for 2.5. That was like my longest relationship, 2.5 going on 3 years. And that relationship taught me a lot. That was one of those relationships where I was so used to Godfather, and then you fall in love with somebody around your age, and
right.
That's when I learned the most about myself. That relationship, it was very toxic. No abuse, none of that. But definitely eye changing. I'm very happy for him. He's very happy for me, I think. I mean, I didn't really, if you read the book, I didn't really close that chapter completely. I just walked away. I needed to do for my mental sanity, or it was gonna go left if I didn't leave. I felt that.
What did it do to you? Like, I think people, what did it do for you as far as like your self-esteem and how you felt about yourself internally, like the struggles that y'all had?
I remember when I got the Steve Harvey Show, he was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
I remember that.
I wrote that in a book, I think. Yeah.
You did. Because you confused me. You confused me because you was like, okay, and maybe you can explain this to me because I was reading fast. It was like I gave up my relationship. I gave up everything for this, and then I lost it. But then I was like, I thought you was trying to run from him. Right. I thought you was trying to get away. So explain that to me.
So the very first, so that relationship was my longest relationship. And he, during the time I was in LA still, I had got the Steve Harvey Show. And he wasn't happy for me. Yes, I do believe that he was very much so. He wasn't happy for me, and we started getting really rocky, and he actually broke up with me right before that. It was like a big taping that we did, and our relationship was very rocky. So the first time I moved to New York, I had the conversation with him, and I said, I got this opportunity after Steve Harvey wrapped. I got this opportunity in New York. I want to move to New York and do this job. And he was like, I talked about it in the book, but we tried. And so we were long distance for a while. And then that's when I reveal all the stuff that I saw. And, if you read the book, I go into much details. And then after that, we broke up. But we didn't kind of break up. I went on a sabbatical and I came back and never spoke to him again. So I talk about it in the book. But yeah, that was a really hard one. And then after that, I had my little social media boyfriend, and then I relocated yet again. Yeah. So I talk about it in the book, but I think my next book, I think it's going to be a relationship type of book. Once I get into a relationship that's successful, then I will talk about those previous ones.
But I feel like any guy that wants to date you, like, all I have to do is read your book. Like, hey, go read my book and then come and talk to me. But then, did somebody do that? I'm remembering. Somebody read your book before they dated you, though.
No.
You went on a date with a guy and he read your book first?
That particular person was a friend. You know how those friends come in your life? He was like, I read all your books. He was like, here, you deserve better. Like, he literally, I remember that vividly. He was like, you deserve better. You don't need to be in a relationship. You deserve better. The reason you need closure. I actually did get closure through my friend, and I did a whole healing thing. So yeah, I did.
Let's go ahead and talk about that, because girl, I told you we ain't even halfway through. So I know. Let's talk about the healing, because I did want to mention that, because I do talk about relationships, how the people that are around you, they cultivate that confidence that you're trying to build in yourself. And so I wanted you to talk about that. But the healing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'm reading.
All day.
A man can read, study, exam, and still mess up. Okay. Healing.
Oh my God.
So I was actually watching Relationship Goals, and this is when I was still in this 2.5-year relationship. I was watching Pastor Michael Todd, and he had this relationship goals series, and he talked about after he finished that book, he went on a sabbatical. Every year he goes on a sabbatical. I had no idea what a sabbatical was. I just like, what's a sabbatical? So I Googled it, and I was like, this is what I need to do. I need to figure out if I want to be in this relationship or not. So I ended up going on the sabbatical. I went to Palm Springs. I talk about it in the book. I went to Palm Springs, and I wrote him a letter, and I burnt that letter. To anybody who had hurt me in the past, or any person that came in my life, all the healing I wrote down. And when I tell y'all, I was isolated in a room with my manifestation journal, which is kind of still like my Dear God journal. I'm like, Dear God, this is what boom, 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 boom. So I came back to the sabbatical, and my friend Bianca, she owns a healing company called BU Beauty. And we came in and we did a yoni steam. We did a whole session. I recorded it. And can I explain this how can you explain the sabbatical? Do you know how to explain it?
It's like a vacation.
It's like a vacation, a spiritual vacation. And we did a whole healing thing, and that really helped me, like, with everything. And anytime I feel like I need healing, I go to her. She's like my spiritual healer. Then I go to my prophet. He's amazing. Then I go to my mentor, and also a therapist. I feel like you need all of that. Sometimes you can't just go to your friends or your family.
Right.
You need a therapist. You need a mentor. You need a spiritual healer. And you also need, somebody in the church, prophet, whatever, that you feel you connect to. Because there's different people in your life who can heal certain things that you need to work on. I'm an advocate of that.
It's so real. I like that you put that there. I like that you put that in there and giving people several ways or several methods to obtain their healing. Because a lot of the trauma that we face, I mean, it takes healing to get through it. And so, um, and to be honest with you, I didn't realize that I had to go through my healing process. When I tried to heal, I thought healing was going to the gym, lifting weights, trying to get, the physical part and not understanding that there was a lot of emotional trauma too.
Mhm.
And so for me, I went through probably 400 hours of trauma training.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah, that was reading every book that I can find on healing, trauma, sickness, illness, everything. And it was like once I got through it, it was like something clicked. And God was like, okay, here's your
Mhm.
healing. Your healing. And of course, that was during the
Yeah.
pandemic, and I was immobile. I couldn't go. I couldn't go to the DR,
Yeah.
right? Um, so it's different for everybody. So that's why I like that you put that in there, and you kind of um telling people like, hey,
There's
there's
different
multiple ways,
options. Yeah. And
there's different
and
options.
even this, I hadn't cried. Like I said, I hadn't cried. I mean, I cried, it was
Mm.
happy tears. I hadn't had happy tears in a while. But this was therapeutic too, for some people.
Mhm.
Podcasts, listening to other women or men who go through the same things you've been through. That's, even if you can't afford a therapist, you can do things like this. Mhm.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, of course, your journey is so different. You're unique, but it's
Mhm.
relatable, and so I can kind of there's this thread that's woven throughout your book where I could even relate to a lot of stuff that you went through, and it kind of reminded me of like, my God, it helped me put it like that. It really did help
Thank
me. And the one thing that it did, I'm gonna let you go, girl. Look, the one thing it increased my faith, right? It's like you have this certain, if you believe that you're gonna do it, you do it. It happens. And so I really like that part about the book. Is there anything that we left out or that you want to talk about or
you.
mention?
I mean, I've gained a new friend. Thank you. This was amazing. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. You're the first person to interview me regarding this particular book. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys go grab Resting Bee Faith.
Y'all, and y'all say, folks, just go ahead and do like this to your ears. 'Cause I don't want to hear it. Don't inbox me and
Yes, the cover is much misleading, but it goes for Bianca Bee. So yeah.
good book. Well, thank you, lady, for coming on. I know I took up a little extra of your time, but I really appreciate it. And to everybody that came on and participated, thank y'all for coming. And until our next episode, y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.